AEW, AEW. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Yeah, I'm Ollie Johnson here with Sam Congrave and Ian Burrows, and what a time to be a wrestling fan, huh?
Yeah.
This I know we everything we were expecting was exceeded.
Oh my god, it was immense.
Mm.
I want to say I have no words, but that would be a lie. We're on a podcast. There will be loads of words coming out of
Yes.
mouths with vowels and adjectives and all kinds of other fluvia.
Have consonant.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a commenter already.
Oh,
And it's here. It's like, Mom, Mom, Mom. Oh, hello. Thanks for joining the stream. Welcome, welcome. We're glad to have you. Uh,
so let's just start this off. I know we're all hyped because of what we've seen, and adrenaline is gonna stay in, and especially since you two have just finished.
yeah.
But let's just start with well the beginning.
Yeah, the I don't know if you'd call it the buy-in they called it.
Yeah, the battle royal, which is appropriate when you consider in. I know they're in Las Vegas, so we should expect these kind of puns. But
Yep.
I just want to say, I love the way the battle royal was actually done in terms of a format.
Yeah,
It wasn't
for
just some
those.
random guys coming out every 5 minutes. It was people put into like brackets and then put in.
Oh, and the guy has subscribed. Thanks very much for the sub. Citrine is here.
Okay, so let's be brutally honest. It's fine. It's fine if you say you don't know who most of these people were.
Yeah,
That's literally what this show was for.
A fresh start.
yeah. Although, who the hell was that really tiny guy that did the Fortnite dance?
I don't know, but I laughed at how he got eliminated by a
Yeah,
fat man.
yeah.
He literally got charged out of midair and flew over the top rope, like in a cartoonish way, onto a bunch of people. But I think we should be happy about the crippled guy.
Oh, whoa, I don't know if we should be using that
Okay,
word on the
guy,
podcast.
I can't. Okay, the guy with no legs, who pretty much hit a 619, proving that there's hope for you, Ollie.
Okay. Oh, why every time I hit the share button on this, does it go to my like Pokemon Nuzlocke video?
I don't know.
Right, I'm just gonna share the channel link.
Probably for the best. But it was good to see a lot of the guys get their spots in. I mean, Billy Gunn and Glacier turning up was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my
Of
God,
course,
Glacier.
oh god, Tommy Dreamer, Jimmy Havoc stapling Tommy Dreamer's balls, Sonny Kiss doing
Magma.
that. I got flashbacks, honestly, watching Luchasaurus.
Oh.
I honestly thought of Imperial Dragon, one of my creations,
Uh.
and Sonny
Okay.
Kiss. And Sonny Kiss, I honestly thought of Lex Sears, but his special move, I
Well,
thought it was hilarious, but it was what got him eliminated, where he, kept pulling people into his butt.
that's one of my characters gone then.
What?
Luchasaurus.
Was
Yeah,
yours
that
an
was
actual wrestling dinosaur though?
even so a good wrestling dinosaur. That's the cut. I think that should be a point in his favor.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that means I have to make another guy.
Yeah, Sonny Kiss was honestly. My wife was saying at one point, what we need after watching a few Gold Dust things, what we need is a more an androgynous character in wrestling. And then this guy comes out and she went, okay, he's ridiculously effeminate, but I will take that. I mean, if you haven't seen Sonny Kiss, he's a black guy with bleach blonde hair. His nails completely done with the fake nails, the makeup. He's wearing a very feminine outfit complete with the fishnets, and his finisher involved him wrapping his legs around his opponent and pulling their face into his butt. And it
Yeah.
got him eliminated because Tommy Dreamer then threw him out. And I thought it was good considering the storyline that's been going on beforehand that Hangman Page won. And if you're not familiar with Hangman Page, he was one of the Bullet Club members and one of the ones that was very close with Cody, the Bucks, and Omega. So he's a big deal.
Yeah.
And he was actually going to be in the main event against Park. But of course, Park injured him and then left. So, that match was down. So the fact that he won the entire thing was great. In my opinion. I mean, I don't know how the rest of you feel about the Battle Royal in general. It was definitely not your average Battle Royal. Hell, Brian Pillman Jr. was in that Battle Royal.
Yeah. That took me by surprise. It really did.
I didn't even know Brian Pillman had a kid.
No, nor did I.
So yeah, him turning up was odd. I don't know if Ian saw the Battle Royal at all.
I didn't.
Oh, it's a shame. It's up for free on YouTube, oddly enough.
It's worth watching.
It is worth watching, if only to make sure we don't plagiarize any more characters. The second match we got was Sammy Guevara, who was wearing a panda head. And might I add as well that I loved the ramp that they had with the two tunnels.
Yeah. Sorry, don't mind the clacking of my keys. I'm just sharing the stream about.
It's okay. And so we got Kip. I can't remember his last name. Sorry, Kip. Oh no, we got to talk about the other guy in the Battle Royal who was basically a sloth.
Yeah, he just
the guy
kicked
just
gently.
The guy who just like half-assed kicks, and the fans are just like going "Boh, boh" every time he kicks, and Tommy Dreamer's just standing there like what? And he just look. He's got his hands in his pockets, just does not give a shit. He's just like, nah, I guess I'll kick you or something. It's just like the weakest taps to the shins you can think of. And then as soon as Tommy Dreamer pushes him down, he kick flips back up. And then Tommy just throws him straight out and he just doesn't seem to care.
Yeah.
That was fucking hilarious.
It was good to see Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy has aged pretty bad and he's always doing these things, like all hardcore things, because that's really all he could do, sadly. Billy looked in great shape, oddly enough, even if he does look like like Dolph Ziggler's dad.
Dolph Ziggler. Yep. Absolutely. Dolph Ziggler's dad.
Yeah, I always remember when John Morrison used to refer to him as the Billy Gunn wannabe.
That could be a kayfabe news
So Tree News
article.
here says, Magma, eat childhood. I'm eating childhood right now. Ugly SCP tattoo, I suppose. Ree! Thank you very much for your contributions. Those were funny. Sorry, what were you saying, Sam?
I was saying about the match, the next match, which was Kip. He was just going by Badman versus Sammy Guevara. I don't really know either one of these guys, but they put on a pretty okay match for what was extensively a pre-show match.
Yep.
But then after their match was done, which Kip won, we went on to the main show, which opened with.
Can we talk about the jab at WWE they took when they said they'd sold out for 20,000 people and set the record for attendance, and then called themselves out on it, saying, "Hang on, this place only carries 13,000."
Shots at WWE were kind of to be expected here and there.
Yeah, it's still fun though, isn't it?
A lot of people didn't like that, what I understood, but especially the one in the Cody Rhodes match, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
The first match was the SCU versus, I can't remember, it was #strong something. I don't really know most of these guys. I mean, I knew who Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels were.
Yeah.
And I vaguely remember who Scorpio Sky was.
Uh-huh. I knew, I think, more of them than I didn't.
But I think we need to put that as a point that these new people that were being shown to us,
Yeah.
it was kind of the point is that most of these people probably would never be hired by WWE. I mean, Jimmy Havoc, definitely not.
No, I wouldn't have
But
said so.
but watching some of these guys, I was impressed. I was completely impressed by what I was seeing in the 6-man tag match.
Oh,
I even
without
loved,
question.
I especially loved the bit at how they ended it with the modified version of the Meltzer driver that was a moonsault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved seeing Christopher Daniels again because I haven't really seen him since he was in Impact. It's
Right.
been quite a long time, I'll be brutally honest.
Yes.
I mean, I only got to see a few highlights, unfortunately, so...
Oh, I watched the entire show.
Well, I'm glad for you. I'm glad you got to see everything you could. I got to see... I mean, the highlights alone went on for like over half an hour.
It was a long show, and like
It was a long show.
there were
But I think
comparatively few matches for the same length of show in, say, WWE.
I mean,
One of
but I
the
think-
distinguishing things about this that I noticed is everybody wrestles long. There are no squash matches.
I did happen to notice that there wasn't just the time filler. And do you know why there was no time filling? Because every match was important.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, they've actually gone out of their way to mention wins and losses are actually going to matter in AEW, and I think that's great.
Moving on to the women's match.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it was
yeah.
meant to be a triple threat. So we had Mila Rose, Dr. Britt Baker. They made a special point of making out that she was a doctor.
A dentist. That.
Even so, and of course, Kylie Ray. I think it was Kylie. It was Kylie something because at first I thought it was Kaylee Ray, and I was like, no, she's with WWE at the moment. And then Brandy came out, and at first I'm like, oh god, they're going to add Brandy to the match. And instead she's like, oh, no. And then they bring out Awesome Kong.
Huh.
My jaw hit the ground.
Now, I think this is worth mentioning.
That's welfare queen for Ian.
Yeah. I feel like I should mention this. One thing you saw in this match that you might not see in WWE even now, there was quite a diversity of body types for the female wrestlers.
Well, we got two giant big women, but the thing is, they weren't the same kind of big woman.
Yeah, one of them was plus sized. I mean, I made a note of remembering her name, but I couldn't. I've never seen her before. It's not that she was forgettable. Far from it.
That was Mila Rose.
Mila Rose, yeah, that was it. She's plus sized, and you know, they don't even mention it, which I thought was nice. And then there's Awesome Kong, who, as we know, looks like she could rip a tank apart with her bare hands.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Ian ever saw Awesome Kong in TNA.
Yeah.
No, but I've seen her in WWE as Karma.
She didn't.
There was one time where she looked like she basically killed Gail Kim in TNA. She sort of snapped her around her shoulders.
But you've also seen her in the Glow Netflix series where she plays Welfare Queen.
I know, yeah.
Which is, I loved her in that.
Yeah, she was great.
There were a few backstage segments, like especially on the pre-show with those two librarians. Gimmicks are not dead. They are going to appear, but it looks like they're going to be used sparingly, which is great as far as I'm concerned.
But the women's match, obviously, Kong did her bit to sell a lot of the big spots in the match, and Britt Baker won, which honestly I thought was cool. I liked Britt Baker. There was a lot of super kicking in the match, but that was cool.
Yeah.
Another match I wanted to get out of the way, which I know you two don't remember much of, was the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks.
Now, okay, yeah, you can talk about that. Yeah, go ahead and talk about that because I wasn't paying too much attention, but only because my attention span was exhausted from
Which is
the matches around it.
Now it was the only real title match of the entire pay-per-view for the AAA tag team titles. And to be honest, a lot of the moves they were doing, I loved a lot of the spots they did. There were a lot of near falls. I mean, hell, they did a lot of Canadian destroyers around the ring, a lot on the outside, on the inside. The Bucks even did their usual shtick of like getting used as weapons against each other.
Yeah.
That's a shtick they usually do. Like one of them jumps off the top rope to like kick their opponent in the back, and they get moved out of the way and accidentally kick their brother. Then they get like thrown into each other and stuff. The Bucks won after a Meltzer driver, which I thought was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Lots of more bang for your buck. The Lucha Brothers looked amazing with a lot of their antics. There was like even a bit where they jumped like from their opponent onto the rope and Hurricane Rana did them off. It was an amazing. There was loads of amazing spots which you'd expect from a Young Bucks match. Honestly, I'd say I can't really do the match justice. It's worth just watching just to get a taste of what the Bucks are like.
I will watch it again.
Situation. I will say, yeah, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
But I'll let you pick the next match to talk about.
Right, well, there are a few obvious talking points. We've talked about the women's match, and two obvious talking points left. I think we have got to talk about the Dustin Cody Rhodes match.
Let's save that for the last one.
I'll be right back. Just gotta give Liz a dinner. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, let's save that for the last one. Right, Ian, what have you seen of the show that we can talk about?
Well, I've seen that one,
right,
not long ago, but I've also...
Have you seen the main event? I think that's... I'm not saying that's the only other talking point, but I think... Shall we talk about the main event?
Jericho.
Okay, yeah. Jericho and Omega. This is Jericho and Omega 2, I should point out.
This is the first Kenny Omega match I've ever actually watched. Can I just say, apropos of nothing, I don't really like how that announcer says one-winged angel.
Okay.
He says one-winged angel. And it just... Do you know what that puts me in mind? It just reminds me of Pastor Manning. Mr. Long-Legged Mac Daddy. Oh, yeah. But other than that, that's the only thing I wanted to say about the announce desk. It was great to hear JR.
Yeah.
On across the entire show. I mean, I've missed JR something fierce.
I've missed JR greatly. Yeah. I will say this for the main event. I'll say this, and I'm sorry if this upsets anyone. This was not the best match they've had. Obviously, the one at Wrestle Kingdom was a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. Well, it was still great. I've got to sing his praises.
It was okay. I have to say, I didn't like Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho spent a week hyping that finisher, and it's nothing.
I don't mind it.
He trolled the audience pretty damn good.
Yeah, and that's why I don't mind it. And also, it's very MMA, and it does look like it could knock you out. But
well, yeah, I mean, he saved it right to the end. I love the fact that they didn't, they feigned it right till the end when he hit it. And to be fair, I liked Jericho's entrance where he had all the different versions of himself, like Lionheart Chris Jericho, then they had List of Jericho, then Sparkly Jacket Jericho. And also, Chris Jericho using his own music as theme song, I liked that.
I like that they're allowing him to do that. I actually
have that song. That is the song he used. A lot of the songs that they used were used in New Japan, by the way. So Cody Rhodes's Kingdom song was the one he uses everywhere.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho has taken to using his own song Judas, which is worth listening to, by the way.
Yeah.
And of course, Omega, they did some great spots. I mean, the V trigger, personally love that move. I mean, that's Omega's go-to to take out most people, and was also one of his follies against Okada in that legendary feud.
Yeah.
But honestly, after knowing that Hangman Page would be the guy who went on to face Jericho, well, who was going to go on to face the winner, I sadly knew that Page probably wasn't going to, that Omega probably wasn't going to win, and that's fine. They can have their rubber matches.
Yeah.
Because Omega would have been an obvious choice when you consider that, he's he's one of the big investors in the company. He's one of the big men in the company when it comes to behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Jericho gives it some validity, I think, because he's been a great heel building up to this. He's been shitting on WWE all over Twitter. He's been messing with fans at the events and the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
And especially when the match itself, the Lion Salt looked, he did botch quite badly throughout the match. I have to really rip him for that one.
Yeah, that DDT.
Yeah, that DDT.
JR even called it out. It said it's the ugliest DDT he ever saw.
Well, Jim Ross, as old as he is, I think you can take his word for it. He's seen a lot of ugly fucking DDTs, and he's not gonna not gonna hold back this shit.
No, I don't believe so.
So yeah, I thought Omega did a great job with the match. I loved how Jericho reversed how they did a lot of the reversals, like how Omega went for the V trigger on the rope, which is one of his go-to moves, and then it got reversed into the walls of Jericho. The Lion Salt looked really fucking stiff when he hit him in the side of the head.
Yeah.
All those code breakers, that triangle drop kick as well, how Omega reacted to that. I think he maybe oversold that one.
Yeah.
He got kicked and he just flipped and landed on his face.
Oh, definitely. I also I like that Jericho won. The match was brilliant. Table spot was a thing of beauty, and the fact that Jon Moxley came out and interrupted the match after the end, and just like that, I've forgotten about Dean Ambrose completely.
It's really pointed out as well that WWE had no idea, had actually thought he'd retired and didn't think he'd turn up for AEW. So when he did turn up, they're not very happy, and a load of the insider people for WWE were like, "Well, this is a surprise to us because we thought he was done with wrestling."
What are they going to do about it?
Nothing, apparently. So he came out, he took out Chris Jericho, then he took out the referee, then he went for Omega, who then pushed him out the ring. That went on for a little bit. So it looks like Omega versus Moxley seems to be the thing, although.
Yeah.
Omega's broken nose. Oh yeah, I should probably point out as well throughout the match, according to what happened after the show, Omega had a broken nose. Cody came out and said, we need to give credit to Kenny Omega. I mean, especially considering he's got the broken nose and everything, and just wrestled that. And
he had a broken nose before the match.
I think he got it during the match, probably. But he can't. I'm not sure. But then they asked him to come out, and he said, "You've got to say goodbye, Kenny." And he's like, "Okay, help me up." So they help him up.
Yeah.
They help him up, and he's struggling a little bit, and he says, "Thank you to everyone. Thank you for making AEW a thing, and we're gonna make this thing a big thing around the world as long as you're willing to join us on this journey." Cody then said that AEW is basically a family, not a corporation. And then they asked Kenny to do his trademark goodbye bang, and he's like, "Okay, goodbye smooch bang, and good night." So they got to send the fans away happy. And they also said thank you to Dean Ambrose for Jon Moxley for coming and helping raise the bar. Said he's not going to thank Jericho because he's not going to give Jericho the satisfaction.
Yeah. That sounds like WWE in a nutshell, really. We're not going to thank Jericho. I'm speaking of that, that's as good a segue as any. That's why I'm really glad Jericho won. Because Chris Jericho just gets better with age as a character, doesn't he?
Jericho once said, Undertaker is the Madonna of wrestling, and he said, "I don't mean that he's the big-titted bimbo of wrestling. He's a guy who constantly invents himself in ridiculous ways, because Undertaker's gone through many image changes as well, if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So, got Jericho on the other hand. Jericho has never truly settled with WWE when you think about with a wrestling company when you think about it. I mean, he came in 1999, he left in 2005, around 2005 and 6, came back around 2008, disappeared again for a little while, and just kept coming back with a new look, new gimmick. I mean, he always seemed fresh enough.
Yeah.
And he's always found ways to reinvent himself, as you've said. And his recent outing in New Japan,
Yeah.
I mean, this was a perfect example of seeing how he has been with New Japan, because he's only appeared a few times and he's only really wrestled 2 people while he was over there, and he was the Intercontinental Champion, and that's the depressing part.
Yeah.
Jericho has only ever wrestled Kenny Omega once and Tetsuya Naito twice.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad he won, and I actually really hope he wins the AEW title and becomes the first champion, because, like, WWE never really gave Chris Jericho his due, did they? Like,
they gave him his first WWE title reign is not recognized by WWE.
yeah.
His undisputed title reign was treated like crap.
And he did get one good title reign when he won the World Heavyweight title as best in the world at what I do, Chris Jericho.
You mean that part where he actually legitimately punched he punched whatchamacallit in the face?
Did he actually punch her?
Yeah, he actually legitimately punched Sean's wife in the face. Knocked her unconscious and everything.
Was that an accident? I hope
it was. He actually apologized afterwards, and her response was, "I honestly thought you'd hit harder."
Yeah, but that title reign where he punched Shawn Michaels' wife in the face was a good one. Yeah,
it was a good one.
Yeah. We're terrible people.
We are terrible people. We are terrible human beings, and we're going to hell.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good title reign. But other than that, they haven't really given Chris Jericho everything he deserves, I feel. And, well...
I'll disagree with you.
Sorry?
I won't disagree with you there.
Oh, okay, you cut out there. I thought you said you would. But, and Chris Jericho is an icon of the business, a legend, or whatever you want to call him, by every conceivable metric. And you've got to think... Well, he hasn't said, to my knowledge, that he's close to retirement. But let's assume for a second, for the sake of argument, that he is. If he's giving the last years of his career to AEW, let's let him run with it. But that's just on the assumption that he's retiring soon. He could go for another 10 years, for all I know. Yeah. But, and, all this drama you hear about backstage or whatever, who you never hear a bad word about? Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So, I think he deserves to be the first AEW champion. He will, the title will get prestige for the fact that he's the one holding it, I think.
I'm going to disagree with you right there.
Well, for that point.
I'm going to disagree with you saying that Jericho should be champion. I agree with the points. However, I'm going to throw a counter argument.
Okay.
Paige has a bigger story and a much better starting point.
I am not aware of this, so you may have to elaborate.
Okay. Let's look at the build up to AEW, right? Paige is, let's be fair to him. Before this started, Adam Page is he's always been one of the bottom runners of the club.
Right.
When it came to the Bullet Club, you could consider the Young Bucks lackeys, effectively, to Cody and Omega.
Yeah.
Page was below that.
Ah, I see.
He was he was their friend. He wasn't a slave or anything. He wasn't treated like shit. He was just never considered a big enough deal. He was
the tag along, really.
He was the tag along, and when they had the 6-man tag team titles and stuff, he was always the guy who was thrown in as the third man. but he was loyal to them. Now, his first outing in AEW was going to be him versus Pac. He got injured, ended a battle royal, won it injured, and he's a no-name guy effectively, who has got who's going to be in the first ever world title match against an established wrestling star.
Yeah.
Now, let's just throw out there for 5 minutes that maybe Jericho isn't going to be a full-time thing. Maybe he's got a 3-year deal with AEW, but let's just say he's not going to be there for a while. Let's just say he's just going to be there to help the other talent get over and stuff and help build this thing so it doesn't become another WCW.
Yeah.
I think Jericho losing to Adam Page will not only solidify Adam Page, who is a younger star, as a bigger star for years to come and actually establish him as someone, but defeating Jericho, who has just defeated Omega, as a strong, booking a strong number two baby face at least, which if they bring Pac back, then they can have the title match between Pac and Page.
I see. Yeah, I see your points. You make a well-reasoned argument.
I'm waiting for you to say you might make an adulterous point.
You make a very adulterous point.
But now the part that I'm sure Ian's been waiting for. Let's talk about that match.
Yeah, the Rhodes match, shall we call it?
Yeah.
The match that was billed as the match that would kill the Attitude Era. For good.
The amount of blood that was on the floor of the ring, you'd believe it killed someone.
They changed a mat between matches. That's how big this was.
Yeah.
I was getting flashbacks to Eddie Guerrero versus JBL the first time.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I actually remember.
So...
Any more blood, it would have been second to Undertaker versus Mankind.
Oh,
fuck! Yeah. So let's give the background for it. It's one of the few matches that actually had a promo before it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Goldust was recently released by WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Depressingly, and I think we've made it clear that Goldust really hasn't had the respect he deserves in WWE. This is a guy who, I want to remind you, had a weak start in wrestling when he was the natural Dustin Rhodes with his dad.
Yeah.
Then his time in WWE, he stayed with them. He had that big fight with Dusty throughout the 90s when the Goldust character took off. And they never spoke for a while, which put a drift between him, his father, his brother, his half-brother, and that must have been upsetting considering he had a young infant daughter at the time as well.
Yeah.
That can't have been good. And he was really in a dark time. And Dustin has really had very dark times. I mean, just look at his TNA run as Black Rain.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God.
But then after the Goldust run, where he was basically drunk most of the time, or he was overweight and just not looking after himself, but he but then, of course, he had the Tourette's thing. The only highlight he had really during that time was his time with Booker T.
Yeah.
Then he got fired again.
As much as I love Booker T and Goldust.
Yeah. But you got to remember again, he had so much shit. I mean, he got fired for the whole Titus O'Neil and Darren Young almost killing Yoshitatsu.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't his fault. He basically could not be the character that he was originally made to be and just felt like he was just sticking on.
Yeah.
And recently, let's face it, all he's really done is get beaten up by Dustin. He get beaten up by by Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. Didn't really do much of anything else. And then Cody pretty much makes this entire challenge to Dustin to kill the Attitude Era, because Goldust really was, when you think about it, he was what started the Attitude Era. Before there was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, I just got banned from the WWE subreddit for posting this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, well.
Goddamn WWE.
But this is the guy who, before there was DX, before there was anything of the Attitude Era, there was Goldust. He was there. doing the things he was doing. I mean, goddamn, this guy had a match with the Ultimate Warrior where the Ultimate Warrior was screaming at people to shout homophobic slurs at Goldust.
Yeah, that's it's
This
not
is what
good.
he had to put up with. This is what he had to put up with.
Mm.
And then if he is literally the first and the last thing of the Attitude Era left.
Yeah.
And Cody is that, you could see it as a passing of the torch thing, and they really went into this like this was going to be Goldust's last match. And he pulled out moves I've never seen him do.
Yeah, that destroyer
Let's go
in
on.
the corner.
But
That one.
Cody
time.
wrote, and that senton from the rope from the apron.
Mm.
But the entrance for Cody, where he came out basically dressed like I assume to be Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. And he did the Triple H thing, and then smashed the throne with a sledgehammer.
Symbolic.
Yeah.
People are
I'm glad they
comparing-
didn't overdo the shots at WWE, but the one or two that they did do were good.
Yeah, people are comparing that bit to Medusa dropping the WWE Women's title in the trash.
Yeah. Well, Cody's a huge star now. Like,
I think Cody's means a lot more.
yeah.
Mm.
And
then-
the match was just amazing. I did not know what to expect. It blew me away. And I'm glad they didn't overuse the blading. Like, I don't know if it, like, I'm glad they didn't overuse blood in the show as a whole, but there was a lot of it in that match.
I liked the little references. I mean, if you looked closely at Dustin's outfit, he had the natural written down his back, which, if you know anything about his history, know how that was his original ring name. I liked how he pulled down Cody's tights and smacked him over the arse with the weightlifting belt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't an anti-PG wrestling statement I'm saying, but I do like that they have a little more freedom, it seems, with that, to be a little more risque.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, he was showing a bit of his Goldust character. He was showing a bit of some new stuff, the rolling senton, the destroyer out of the corner.
Yeah.
Brandy got involved and, attacked Goldust.
Yeah, that
But then-
spear on the outside that got her rejected.
And of course, they kicked her out, and then DDP came and removed her.
Yeah.
That was odd.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All the crossroads being done, all the curtain call, all that stuff.
There were a lot of false finishes.
Mm.
A lot. And to be honest, this was a main event level match. And if you told me 5 years ago even that Cody Rhodes could put on a main event level match against Goldust, I would not believe you.
Well, hell if that ain't the world we ended up living in.
The world we ended up living in, AEW broke a lot of barriers to last night.
And
Yeah.
it really brought out the best in Dustin.
Yeah. And
I mean, I know that Ian hasn't watched much outside of WWE, but not through lack of trying, to be honest. Let's be brutally honest. There's not much available to us.
yeah, although this is on ITV now, which has apps in places, so it's
I just could
accessible.
not believe. And the end bit. I mean, Cody basically they paint the mat with his
Yeah.
blood. With
They
his blood.
replaced the mat between matches. That's how much blood got on it. And like Dustin's wrists were like you could have been forgiven for thinking the tape was originally red.
Wow.
Yeah. And
But the promo after the match.
yeah, it's yeah, it was something. And Cody was covered in his brother's blood.
I mean, even at the end of the show, I shit you not, after it was all done, Cody was in the ring to say thank you for everyone coming out, and he still had Dustin's blood.
Is that yeah, I know who that is. That's someone from Hereward. I know, just commented. Monkyle says, I was very skeptical about AEW, but AEW is legit. Felt like WCW production with ECW attitude. I agree. Yeah.
I think it had a cool mix of what was needed, and
Yeah.
you got to remember this is Ace's first show.
Yeah. Now,
What Tuesday night Dynamite will be is anyone's guess after this point. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
the name of their weekly show if they have one.
well, they'll have one, and sorry about that.
Tuesday night Dynamite. But yeah, after all that was said and done, Cody Rhodes is pretty much saying, "You don't." I was worried when he said, "Oh no, you don't get to retire. You
Yeah,
don't get."
that had me
And
on
I
the
was
edge of
like,
my
"Oh,
seat.
shit, he's home." And then he's like, "At the fight for the Fallen," and suddenly I thought of Avengers.
Yeah.
And he says, "I've put myself down in a tag team match against what I consider to be the best tag team in the world, the Young Bucks. And I put myself in with a partner of my choosing. And I need my brother." And it sounded
Oh.
like he was about to cry when he said
Yeah,
that.
that got me. He said, "I don't need a
Like,
partner. I don't need a friend. I need my big brother."
and I just thought to myself, they made it feel like this wasn't a company, this wasn't a scripted line. That this entire company thing does feel like it's a passion project.
Yeah, and
This
this
doesn't feel
isn't
like
just
we're
your
making-
average indie fed. This isn't just a new indie fed. This, for the first
This-
time, it feels like there could be an actual competitor to WWE. Like, the production
even-
value is there.
This isn't even a thing that was created solely for the purpose of we want to take down WWE and have a slice of that pie. This was, we love wrestling. We love this business. And in some cases, they've been spurred by the business.
And they motivated Ted Turner to get in on it and try to take down WWE.
Ted Turner can now officially say he's been in the 2 Monday Night Wars. Very few people are going to be able to say that now.
Yeah, well, if they have a show on Monday, but it's still a war. Like, round 2, bitches.
Not only that, I can see that one of the advantages AEW will have is their relationship with other feds.
Yeah, yeah,
Literally
definitely.
They literally just had a match between their own talent and
Do they have
and
exclusive contracts? I don't believe they do they?
well, John Moxley's contract has him free for indie feds.
Yeah.
But I can see them doing deals with New Japan Pro Wrestling, even Ring of Honor, maybe even the NWA.
Yeah, this is a game changer. I mean, time will tell what happens when the new promotion hype wears off. That's when we'll see, what they've really got. But I'm optimistic.
Well, they're apparently planning 6 months in advance.
That's good. That's a good sign. It's not really something that's been done before. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for them.
And at the risk of sounding over optimistic, and I will be prepared for if in a year or two I have egg on my face, but last night the game changed.
Yep.
Everything changed. An entire new audience was introduced to a new promotion. Not just a new promotion, a promotion that showed something that veteran fans have not seen in a long time, and that new fans are like, this is different.
Yeah.
It's new.
I think
This is-
any more and we'd be belabouring a point, but yeah.
Yeah. So what will happen beyond this point, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But AEW,
Sorry, Sam, I didn't mean to cut you off. I've done it again.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Here's the thing. They brought back Ty fucking Dillinger, and they did it right.
Yeah. He was over as hell.
They did his 10 thing and ended it with a middle finger, and I loved that bit.
Yeah.
Here's 10, and here's a 1.
Yeah. So, Ian, what are your thoughts in general on the show? I feel like if we go on any longer, we'll just be repeating ourselves. So we'll call it now, shall we?
All right.
Mhm.
Final thoughts.
My final thoughts is that this is something that we've been waiting for quite a while. It's about time it's happened, and I'm really glad that the new generation gets to enjoy the stuff that we enjoyed.
Yeah. I think that this is what the wrestling business worldwide needed. Something to I know WWE hasn't been the only game in town for a while, but this is the first time it's felt like there was something else that could fill their spot.
It's been almost 20 years since that was the case.
Yeah, and
And I also
time will
like
tell whether it lasts, but at the
Also,
moment
little
it feels huge.
A little tidbit. apparently the match, the night last night was one night till like a few day and the day, like over a couple of years since Cody was released from WWE.
Ah,
So there was a bit of a thing there. But
Cool.
my thought is that this is a chance for people who have been in promotions like New Japan, Ring of Honor, and things that are very hard to watch outside of the States, and gave them a chance to show people who were probably WWE viewers on a much easier to access channel, by the way, show
Yeah.
them an alternative.
yeah,
And if you make that alternative easier to find,
yeah,
easier to see, look,
Yeah.
they've got been. I think that's good. I mean, again, I can guarantee you, till a few minutes ago, till he watched it, Ian had probably never seen Kenny Omega,
I never had, to be honest.
never seen the Young Bucks,
Nope,
never seen Hangman Page.
nope.
Now you have. You've got
Yeah.
exposed to them. And Omega is one of the best in the world. No doubts about it. He's one of the biggest and best wrestlers on the planet.
Yeah.
And he got to show people why. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, because WWE, I don't know how they're feeling at the moment, but...
And it's a different product, which is like the main thing, because TNA could have been this, but they fell into the trap of trying to copy their competition. And AEW's not doing that. This isn't sports... Like, I'm going to sound really cheesy, but this isn't sports entertainment, it's professional wrestling.
And last night, what I saw, especially the Cody versus Dustin match, that wasn't just a match. That was fucking art.
Yeah, there was a story in that match. Like, match of the night for me. Not for technical prowess, but for...
Jim Ross added to that thing, and God bless that man.
Yeah. I hope he sticks around with AEW for a long time to come.
God bless him and his barbecue sauce.
I've actually had JR's barbecue sauce. It's really good.
I know, I fucking got you that sauce.
Yeah.
I brought it home one day for Liz. She loves it.
Yeah. It's good. You should buy it. Anyway, I think that's about all we have to say on the matter, unless anyone cares to comment anything else.
I have nothing more I can say other than my final word on AEW is this was a strong start.
It's the strongest start I've ever seen.
My hat is off to the Bucks, to Cody, to Omega, and everyone else who made it possible. And if I could, and I know they'll never hear this by watching this podcast, but thank you for giving us what we needed.
Well, what the wrestling business needed, really. This is going to change the game. It's going to have
very
very far-reaching implications. That's my prediction.
Well, the business isn't just the companies, it's the fans as well. As
Yeah.
cheesy as that sounds, we are as much a part of the wrestling business as the people who are in the ring. I know that sounds cheesy.
I think we're a little bit less a part of the wrestling business than them, but I take your point.
Yeah, you get my point that we are literally what keeps this going.
Yeah. So yeah, let's keep this going, and I'll be watching AEW with great interest.
If wrestlers are the cogs, we're the oil that keeps it going.
Yeah. That's a very good analogy.
That's a better analogy. But yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the thing. This is what was needed. I can't wait to see where they go from here, and hope they don't fall into the WWE trap.
They won't. I'm sure they won't, and I'm very excited to see what they do. With that, I think we'll leave you. Ian, any final words on the podcast, not in general?
Well, all I can say is that I had a great time watching it.
So did I.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. I actually was excited for both of you to see it, because I know I'm the guy who watches New Japan and all the other stuff, and I'm more informed than you. And I was like, I want these guys to experience this.
Yeah, I'm more excited for wrestling than I've been in a long time.
I know.
I'm looking forward to watching more.
Yeah. All right, and on that, we'll leave you because we've been repeating ourselves a bit.
Indeed.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. All of our names are on the image on the screen and the YouTube channels where you can find us. You can also find me at Ollie Johnson on Twitch. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Good night. Smooch. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right.